Functions of language. Language is performative. Commissives. Let's see what is commissives. Commissives are utterances in which a person shows that he is committed to do something. We believe that some language is more than action, more than a packet of information. For example, if we say this is a book, in this sentence we simply give an information. But there are certain sentences, in their nature they can be called statement, but they are not mere statement or information. They are action. For example, if a person says, I promise, I guarantee, or I pledge, in these three statements you say that they are not simply statements. When a person say, I promise, he is actually telling us to do some action, that he is committed to do some action. He gives us his intent. It means that there is something more than to convey than mere information. So these statements show intent of the speaker. For example, let's take the example of these two simple words, I do. For example, these words are the words that are generally used by an eyewitness before going to witness his testimony. Similarly, we find that these two words are uttered by two people before they go into a legal relationship, before any government or any religious community. So these two words are not simply statements. They have commissive power. They show that the people have intent to take the relationship onward. And if somebody want to undo it, simply they cannot be undone. Some additional actions will have to be taken to undo these two words. So language is much more than mere words. So you can say that it's not simply a set of words. Verbal language especially is not a set of words. It's more than word. It shows action. It shows our intention. It shows our promises, right? And it has certain legal repercussions. So performative language can also be a means of control, especially in legal context. Legal context, it has a very great control. For example, in some cases, the language that makes a lie is intentionally vague. So what do the advocate or the lawyer do? They explain or interpret the law, and their interpretation of the law actually becomes helpful for the further cases. So language is very important. So it is the control of the language that give this power to language and help us make legal bindings. Imagine how powerful the word can be. For example, if a defendant listen to the jury say these words, we the jury find the defendant. So you can understand that how these words are going to control the psyche of the defendant. So the power can be felt thinking a case in a court of law. So some language is deemed so powerful that it is regulated. For example, if somebody makes a hate speech or makes a libel or makes a defamatory statement, so these things can have their own consequences, and they can be criminalized. So this aspect of the language is very important. These are all the functions that are performed by language, and we call that language is performative. Beside being performative, language is also fun. For example, we find that poets, writers, and comedians use language to create fun. They earn their livelihood with this twist of language. So similarly, language can also be used for humor. Using humor can also draw attention to us. For example, we also use humor to disclose information about ourselves that we might not feel comfortable revealing in a more straightforward way. For example, sometimes you feel that you have not done very well in some exam, and you do not want to simply state it to your parents that you have not done well, but you try to create some sort of humor to tell them that information. So language can have a lot of performative functions to perform.